get your rattle baits here. Get your rattle baits, fools.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Fishing PA with Ryan Reed. Today was March 10th, 2018, and you know what that means. We finally made it to Muskie Max, held up in Moon Township at the Embassy Suites. Muskie Max is our big muskie show here in Western Pennsylvania. I was super excited for it. I've been waiting for it for months, and the show did not disappoint. As I mentioned in previous episodes, Muskie Max always gets better every single year, and this year was much of the same. So what I'd like to do in this episode is give you guys my basic review on Muskie Max 2018. I want to talk about the venue, I want to talk about the vendor list, I want to show you some of the product that I picked up, maybe explain what I'm going to use it for, and then I want to talk about the seminars. At the very end, we're going to tie it all together. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on Muskie Max 2018, maybe what they can do better, what they did awesome, and in between, I'd like to show you some clips of the actual show. So I hope you guys enjoy this. It was a fantastic opportunity to get out and talk to some vendors. I had a blast today, me and my wife and my buddy Dan. It was a great experience. I'm thankful for the opportunity to make the show and pick up some new equipment. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. I want to get right into my review of the venue. Okay, I want to start off talking about the location of the event and also the new venue at the Embassy Suites. First and foremost, the location in Moon Township versus Cranberry, for me, was not a big deal. It was an easy transition, it was an easy drive. What I really liked was we got to eat at the Central Diner out there on Steubenville Pike, which was fantastic. I had my veggie omelet, veggie egg white omelet, and a couple of coffees, and I was raring to go for the show. So I like the area, I like Moon Township, it was easy to get to. Thumbs up, Muskie Max on location. Venue, awesome venue. The Embassy Suites in that area was fantastic. It's actually one of the nicest Embassy Suites that I've ever been to. So with the venue, they stepped their game up. However, the issue that I had today was the actual salon that we were in. As far as that room goes, it was very cramped. It was extremely cramped. They packed a lot of vendors in there, and it was in one room with a few aisles, and there wasn't a whole lot of walking room because there was so many people. In addition to that, the room was smoking hot. I had to take my coat off, take it out to the car, and I was still hot. The amount of heat put off in that room was tremendous today. There was a lot of people, there was a lot of action, so it was a great thing. However, next year, please, Muskie Max, get a bigger room. Other than that, I love the area, I love the location, I love the embassy. That's a thumbs up. Get a bigger room for next year. Okay, next I want to talk about vendors for Muskie Max 2018. I think this was one of the best vendor lists in probably the last 5 years. Now, I really liked a lot of the vendors that they had, and some of them that we want to talk about. I want to start off by talking about Alley Cat Lures. Alley Cat Lures makes a tremendous product. However, they're very difficult to find. This year, Alley Cat was at Muskie Max, and he actually had quite a few lures with him. The only thing I'll mention about Alley Cat was he was wiped out from the Ohio show. So he didn't have all the colors I thought he would have. However, I was able to find the original cat. Hopefully you guys can see that. In the white pattern with the orange belly, this is a great lure. Now, some of the other Alley Cats that I own, they're stray cats, so they're smaller. There is a difference here. The action's a lot different on this one. So, Alley Cat, big success. I love that they were there. I at least got one of the lures that were on my list. Awesome. Okay, another company I want to talk about quickly, Angry Monkey. I didn't buy anything from him this year. However, I caught the biggest fish of the year last year on this very lure, and that's an Angry Monkey. So I think you guys should check these out because they're super light, they're great products, and he's a really nice guy. Angry Monkey, solid choice for a vendor. Okay, as always, Tony Grant. He's one of my favorite guys to talk to. He is one of the best guides you're ever going to talk to. He really knows everything there is to know about muskie fishing, and I love the Kentucky attitude and the Kentucky swang. However, he makes some of the best rattle baits you're going to find on the market because they're tough, they're durable. I always take a look at his rattle baits. I was really lucky today because they had 3 rattle baits in particular that were actually painted by Todd Leopardi. And if you guys know Todd Leopardi, he does Leo lures, which I'm going to show you in a few minutes. These lures were painted by Todd. So when I saw them, I couldn't resist them. I bought them. I just want to show you guys some of these. These are the Fat Belly Rollers. That's kind of like a perch pattern, or a bluegill pattern actually. That's kind of like a black perch pattern right there. Pretty sweet looking rattle bait. And then I got the red with some of the black in it. Pretty awesome colors. These are pretty sweet baits because whenever you're pulling them in the water, they're not only rattling, but they're actually walking like this too. So I think they say typically later in the year for these over weeds because they don't run as deep, but I had to pick a couple of those up. Tony Grant, awesome vendor, yay Muskie Max. Okay, I just want to name a couple of honorable mentions even though I didn't buy anything from them. Okay, so Lunge and Lures was there. Fantastic selection. Wiley Lures was there. He always has a number of his lures on the table, and they look very good. Fat AZ was there. Todd Young. Love talking to Todd. He's a great guide up in Chautauqua, and those baits are killer. Another thing I want to mention that I thought was crazy was Baker Baits. They were there for 17 minutes and sold out every single lure that they had. Baker Baits are extremely difficult to find, and they're extremely difficult to get because they sell out within the first 20 minutes of the show. There were guys that got there at 6:30 in the morning to stand in line just to get a Baker bait. When I talked to the kid and I said, hey, I could never even look at your baits because they're never on the rack when I get here. He said next year they're going to try to make some adjustments, limit people to how many lures they can buy, so that gives everybody an opportunity to take a look, and they're also going to try to come up with a solution to keep everybody off the rack so nobody gets elbowed in the face, because apparently that happened this morning. It's a great product. I wish I could see it in person. Maybe next year. Okay, the main reason I wanted to go to Muskie Max this year, Chaos Tackle and Muskie Innovations. Chaos Tackle was there in full force, and so is Muskie Innovations. The one thing I want to say about these vendors though, basically we got the B or C team when it came to Chaos Tackle and Muskie Innovations. The lure selection just wasn't there. The lures that they did have though worked for me because it was pretty much everything I was looking for. And I want to give you guys a couple of examples. Okay, I want to start with Chaos. So I went there for 2 regular size Medusas. I know I've said this in previous videos. I don't throw big baits. However, preemptively for St. Clair, Jason Quintano, I'm going to talk about that later. Big rubber baits, they seem to be crushing it. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to pick up 2 big rubber baits. I got the BL Special, and I got this black, and it's got a really nice flash inside of it. These are the regular size Medusas, so I was pretty stoked to get those. And I also picked up 2 of the micros for bass, and I'm going to throw these at random lakes for largemouth throughout the year. They didn't have all of the colors that I was looking for. However, these worked really fine, and I was more than happy with it. The other thing I want to mention about Chaos is I did pick up 1 more Poseidon. I've been looking for this color that's just a silver black with a little bit of glitter in it. This is going to be a dynamite bait, and I was pumped to pick that up as well. So the same for Muskie Innovations. You know, they didn't have all the colors I was looking for in the Bulldogs. However, you know, they had the Mag Dogs in stock. They only had a couple of them that they would consider St. Clair colors. I was able to pick up the Cisco pattern, and again, the BL Special, which stands for Ball Liquor Special. True story. Other than that, though, I got everything I wanted to go there for. So I was pretty happy with Muskie Innovations and Chaos. I just feel as though we kind of got the B and C team as far as lure selection from those 2 vendors. Okay, there were a few other vendors there. There were Muskie Train, Smutley Dog, and Exploratory Baits, all of which you guys should check out because they make great products. I want to talk about one more company that was there, and that was Leo Lures. Leo is always solid. He always has a ton of lures to select from. He's got a million colors. Really just fantastic selection. Plus, he gives you a lot of good information. I asked Todd, I asked him a couple of questions about what his favorite bait was for St. Clair. He pulled 2 or 3 of these out. If you guys can see that. That's the Shayla Shad in the black perch pattern. He pulled 2 or 3 of these lures out that were completely destroyed. And I mean chunks of wood out of them. He runs these up at St. Clair. He likes the Shayla Shads up there. So I went with his opinion and I said, I'm going to do it, and that's what I'm going to throw in St. Clair. I renewed my Muskie's Inc. membership, and there was the free bait, which is a Super Cisco. Pretty cool pattern. I'm alright with the chartreuse and black. Yeah, all in all, fantastic vendor list. You know, even though I felt like we got a little bit of the B and C team, you know, this was still the best event that we're going to have this year as far as any outdoor shows in Western Pennsylvania. Okay, as far as the seminars go, I was only able to attend 1 seminar today. But it happened to be Jason Quintano out of St. Clair. And Jason is one of my favorite speakers. Jason talked about big rubber baits, you know, Medusas, Bulldogs. He talked about the Poseidons and the Swimming Dogs, how they translate into deep water muskies. And Jason spent a lot of time talking about down imaging and side imaging. And Jason catches a lot of fish just by watching his electronics. And he's given us a couple examples in these types of seminars, and I just thought it was outstanding. I actually had an opportunity to go up to Jason at the end and just kind of thank him for some of the seminars that I've seen. You know, I told him that I appreciated it. Inexperienced muskie fishermen get a lot out of it, but I also think experienced fishermen get a lot out of it because a lot of guys ask questions about the side imaging, the down imaging, and it just seems to work. So Muskie Max, I wish I would have got to see Tony Grant's seminar, but Muskie Max, you're killing it. Your seminars are always fantastic. Okay, one of the last things I want to talk about is just some of the guide services that were there. You know, Mike Halbert was there, Jason Quintano, Spencer Berman, Tony Grant was there. All of those guys are fantastic. You're not going to get a bad trip with any of those guys, really any of the guides at the show. However, there was one guide service that I talked to that kind of stood out for me because they fish all year round, because the weather is good enough to do that. There's a guide service called River Rat Guide Service out of Southern Kentucky. I want to show this to you guys in particular because I think if you're looking for a southern muskie hunt, this guy may be your guy. So check out River Rat Guide Service. do a Google search for that. You can pull this up. The gentleman I talked to was super nice, very approachable, very easy to talk to, and he seemed like he was really amped to get out fishing. So those are all good things that I look for, and I think you guys should take a look at that guide service. Okay, one more thing I want to talk about as far as equipment that I purchased. Again, Leo Lures makes hook sharpeners, and this is pretty sweet because that's like the head of a fishing lure. And this is, I can't remember the name of this pattern. I think it's pumpkin seed. That's the pumpkin seed pattern. And it's just cool because the hook sharpener, it's a dual hook sharpener or dual sided. So literally all you have to do is take your hook and you just slide it right down, and it actually will sharpen it on both sides so you don't have to sit there with a file. I really like this. I was glad I was able to get one. I'm going to use the heck out of it. Okay, I just want to wrap this thing up. All in all, Muskie Max, you were a huge success in my mind. I loved the venue minus the cramped and hot room. Not a big deal for me at all because I'm going to push through all of that. I loved the vendor list. It just always gets better and better. I really took an opportunity to take some extra time and just talk to people, and this was probably my favorite Muskie Max show because of that. So all in all, you know, I think this was a great show. I highly recommend it to you guys. I was extremely thankful that I can make the trip out there, and I had good company with me today. So I want to thank both of them for hanging in there with me as I bounce in and out of the crowd. Hopefully you guys were okay with this review. Hopefully it made sense, and hopefully, you know, it was beneficial. Maybe it'll help you get out to Muskie Max next year because, you know, you at least got to see what the event's all about. Alright guys, well, if you want to see more of these or you want to see something in particular, let me know. If you liked the video, please like below. If you like the content overall, please subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate it. Guys, take care. How much do you like bass in your muskie net?
Absolutely nothing.
Oh, you love it. You told me you did.
No.